So I have been thinking, this one floor thing is kind of boring, right? I would really like to add a second floor to my house. And I hear you asking, what goes together with a second floor? That's right, an elevator does. Hey, what is going on, you guys? You are back here with Sub-Zero, as if I need an introduction. Am I right? Well, maybe I do, but that is besides the point. How about I get straight to the point then? Well, I just got off of the TV, and guess what I saw? I saw this great new elevator that they were promoting over at my local elevators. I mean, I can already hear you complain about the fact that these elevator trips always work out for the worst. But let's just drive there, and you will see what I mean. Supposedly it is this big new elevator. Hey, there is the adoption center. I might actually swing by that place one day soon. I think I am ready to become a father legally this time, since they did not like it that time when I just stole a baby. In my defense, that baby had a great 3 hours with me. It was all fun and games right up until the moment that the Special Weapons and Tactics unit busted into my apartment. They were really nice about it though. On the way to the police station, I even got to ride with the sirens on. Well, they did. I was going to ask for some directions to this guy, but it seems like he is a bit occupied with that door. Maybe he is interested in buying the door. Who knows? I could get into that. I mean, it is a decent door. It probably works like it is advertised. It opens and it closes. Well, this is the elevator. Wait a minute. What is that orb-like thingy there in the back? Is that from Portal? I mean, if you want me to buy this elevator, and you are going to include this piece of Portal memorabilia, then I am sold. I mean, give me this elevator, man. I am ready. My body is ready. This purple-maned feline here seems to be ready as well. Come on, who is not ready for Portal? Everyone should be ready for Portal. Though I am not ready for this thing. Is this a tube? Or is this also some kind of Portal memorabilia? Well, if so, then I do not recognize it, sadly. Could you guys in the comment section let me know if this also is some Portal thing? I mean the tube, not the tiny orb here. I am always running. Yeah, I actually am right now. But this tube seems to have some vacuum going on, or some really weird gravitational pull. Maybe it has a tractor beam from Star Wars. A tractor beam, like the one the Empire used on the Death Star to pull Han Solo his Millennium Falcon in. Only that one was a bit stronger, since this one was pretty easy to run away from. Even though my purple-haired assistant here barely survived it. Well, you know, it comes with a job, right? Is that a camera right there? I wonder if they'll leave that installed when I buy it. That would be pretty creepy. Let's say I want to go to the bathroom from my bedroom, and I take the elevator. The camera could clearly see right down my bathrobe. I mean, I do not want anybody to see my belly. That is only for these eyes to enjoy, not just for everyone. I am not selling out my belly, or rather, my amazing abs, for an elevator with a freak show in it, plus a camera that keeps rolling all the time. Maybe the footage gets put on some site to make a gag reel. I could see the humor in that. At least they would see how not feared I am in this. But still, I do not know what this is. I mean, you can wave at me all you want, my dear purple-haired wonderkind, but I am not going in there. It looks like the inside of a garbage container, and it actually smells like the inside of a garbage container. And now you may be asking, well, Sub-Zero, how would you know what the inside of a garbage container smells like? Let me tell you a quick story then. When I first moved to Paradise City in Roblox, I was completely broke. I did not have a house nor an apartment. I did not even have a bed to sleep in. So the first couple of days that I got there, I slept inside of the playground. I climbed to the top, and I just slept there. I was lucky that it never rains there. But after a while I got sick of all the noise that the children there made. So I moved to a different spot. It was actually right behind the house that I now live in. There was a dumpster, and it actually was pretty roomy. I had no trouble sleeping there, except for the stench then. I think you might still smell it a bit with the right wind. And oh boy, does it smell bad. Now it actually looked a little like this, only it was a tad warmer in there, since this looks like Ukraine or something. And there are some pretty horrible winters. The guy all the way to the left might have actually froze to death, or the medical term, he might have died due to hypothermia. That is actually pretty common among Soviet soldiers back in the day, even though they were used to the cold conditions, like in World War II when the Red Army completely screwed the German army when they tried to invade the Soviet Union. A lot of German soldiers died during that period, due to hypothermia, but also a lot of Soviet soldiers died due to hypothermia. area. But since the Red Army had so many soldiers, it did not look like a lot of people died there, since it was a small percentage. But I mean, if you have 1,000,000 soldiers, and only 1% dies, you still have around 10,000 casualties, which, to me, does not sound like a clear victory. But I guess if that is what it took to give freedom back to Europe, then at least those soldiers did not die in vain. Alright, excuse my little army rant there. Sometimes I just get really patriotic and start talking about the army, from whatever country, and I get really patriotic, and I want to make sure that everyone knows that these are the men who give the ultimate sacrifice, to ensure the freedom of both you and me. And they might not even know who they are liberating, since there are too many people who need to be liberated. But that is what makes them such heroes. They are super selfless, and put their lives on the line not just to protect their families, but also the families of all the other Americans, Europeans, Asians. That is what counts. And they never ask for anything in return. Maybe a decent meal once in a while, because those MRE thingies taste like solid, but that is the only reasonable way to describe it. I mean, most things are freeze-dried. You have to mix water to your chicken to make it the least bit chewable. How about that for a scary story? But that is enough about the heroes that defend our country from things we cannot defend ourselves from. And who on earth is this? When did you join this elevator demo? I did not know you were invited. Mr. I look amazing with these glasses. You are inside of an elevator. Glasses are pretty unnecessary in here. Since there is no sun, now you just look like a douche. Oh wow, that place is ablaze, man. I do not know about you, my dear purple-haired female friend, but I am putting the blame on Muscle's glasses here, since I do surely want my security deposit back. I cannot afford to break this thing on my first try. My insurance will definitely not cover this amount of damage to the property, if I can even call this a property. This looks like it is just a hallway with a My Little Pony poster, and it is set ablaze. That is the most horrifying part. The hallway is completely covered in flames, and then My Little Pony poster just survives. That is just weird. That must be some black magic that has been spelled on the entirety of the My Little Pony universe and peripherals and merchandise, of course. So if you see someone with a My Little Pony shirt, they might just be a witch, so beware for that. Now how about this elevator just closes these door before we all end up in a fiery pile of burned bodies, which in that case would not be good. I do not think that my skin looks good when it is all blistered and burned. I mean, take a look at Anakin Skywalker after he got struck down by his mate Obi-Wan Kenobi. He set ablaze, and after that, he looked like hammered poop. I can tell you that much. But at least he got a decent suit after that. Then he actually looked like a complete and utter baller. No comments on that, mate. He was just straight up shining in his new armor. Now, not unlike this barn, there is nothing cool about this barn. I mean, there is just a green bucket, a ladder, and a rusty old motorcycle. Oh no, do you guys see that? That actually looks like my old motorcycle. The one that I had to sell to pay for my rent. I am still in tears because of that. It was such a great ride. I love driving it across town, even though it were just little circles, since our town is not that big actually. But the freedom that I felt while driving on that thing was insane. Just thinking about those times just riding around town on my bike, it just frees my mind. I actually want to buy a new motorcycle soon, since I had to put the last one up for sale. I have not ridden a bike ever since. I mean, it is just such a waste. You are nowhere as free as when you are just cruising around on a motorcycle, especially in the spring, when the leaves start to turn green and everyone is outside trying to catch the first glimpse of the spring sun. I love that, but that is in the past now. Until I buy a new motorcycle, especially with this thing going on here. Are these things all just still frames? It looks like some mafia or FBI closing in on a lizard who is dressed up as Michael Jackson. Who knew that lizards would like Michael Jackson? Or maybe he is just impersonating him to rob somebody, in which case, go FBI, put him behind bars, or a big door. Since most modern prisons do not actually have iron bars to keep the prisoners in their cells. And I actually think that prisons are built to make hallways in such a bit small, so that a German tiger tank could never fit in there to rip apart a cell door. So tough break for all the people in jail. But that tiger tank cannot save you from the prison life. Now I wonder what is up next. Even though all of these things are super weird, right? They look like still frames. Maybe these are all super amazing actors, I mean, look at these guys. That Gatling gun must weigh like a ton. And he does not even flinch. I would not even have the strength to lift that minigun. Do not even think about holding it still for that amount of time. These guys must get paid a ton. At least they are dressed up like Team Fortress 2 characters, which makes it even more cool. Their weakness is our weapon. How about that? So I guess my weakness is a minigun. I would say that I could not withstand a minigun. But that being said, I think no one can withstand a minigun. Maybe a German Tiger tank will. How about that? Tiger tanks are built to withstand heavy anti-tank fire. I mean, how the Germans even lost the Second World War is insane. Their arsenal was so good compared to the Red Army. Not unlike the US though, they completely obliterated the German defense. Did you know that the Germans were building a V2 rocket facility in France, inside of a freaking mountain? They literally carved out the insides of the mountain and they let captured soldiers work there. That is insane. If they would have completed that underground rocket facility, the war could have gone really different. That is the scary thing. From that site, they could easily hit the United Kingdom. They would have completely obliterated the city of London with those missiles. But I believe they never got to finish it, because of an American bombardment. I believe that the US South and of course the other allies found out about the missile base, and they just ended up throwing bombs on it for days. Although it pretty much is still intact. The insides, that is. There was enough damage done to close the facility, so hooray for the Allies. Now you know a little more about the Second World War. A lot of stories to tell about those times too, but that will have to wait for another video, because right now we are looking into the office of Indiana Jones or something. It looks a lot like it if you ask me. That actually reminds me of that one Indiana Jones movie where Indiana Jones was trapped in a nuclear bomb test site in like the 1950s or 60s, and his only way of survival, according to him, would be putting himself into a fridge and just hope for the best, which in his case actually worked. But I would not count on that in real life, since the intense heat released when an atomic bomb explodes is so high. There is so much energy released at once that everything in like a 200-mile radius get instantly vaporized. So let's just say that Indiana Jones got lucky on that one. I mean, it is not like he had many options at that point. Running would be completely pointless. But I mean, it is a movie, right? You should always take movies with a grain of salt. And some movies you will have to take with a popcorn bag filled with salt. But that eventually completely depends on the kind of movies you watch. If you love biographies, then you only need a little salt. If you love sci-fi like Star Wars, well then you would need like a ton of salt. But that does not mean that these movies are not enjoyable. They are fantasy for a reason. A good reason if you ask me, because I love myself some sci-fi movies, especially Star Wars, or basically anything Marvel and DC. That is always good. So right now the Doctor Strange movie has been out for a couple of weeks. And how do you guys feel about that movie? The last time that I asked this, there were not that many comments on what I asked about the movie. So maybe around this time, more people have seen it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section and tell me your favorite superhero movie. That can be DC or Marvel, I do not care, since I sincerely love both of them. But I love Portal more, at least I think. So it disgusts me that anyone would have done this to a Portal set. I will find the culprit, and he will be trialed. No one can get away with doing this much harm to such a great game. How do you guys actually feel about Portal? I think that by now you would know that I love Portal, but that is not a secret. But what do you guys think? Have you ever played it? Or maybe you have seen some playthroughs. Again, I love this stuff, but maybe not everyone does. And I guess everyone may have their own opinion. But you are wrong. And Portal is life. Oh, what is this? Alright, we just changed sets again. And what might this be? Oh, I know this. This is easy. I think that this is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. That is such an amazing game. I literally blew my whole summer vacation on that game. I am not sure for which ages this game is, but if you have played it, let me know, since it is awesome. So to sum it all up a little, you will have to tell me if you like Portal. You will have to tell me your favorite Marvel or DC or any superhero movie. And now you will also have to tell me if you played and like The Witcher, because all of the things that I just said are amazing if you ask me. But who am I, right? Well, I play a lot of video games, so I got that going on. Now I know that I just said that I liked and played The Witcher 3, but the settings does not seem familiar for some reason. Can anybody help me out with this? Or do you guys think that this is just some artist impression from The Witcher 3, which could actually be possible? I am not sure. It probably is possible, or maybe I have just forgotten a part of the game. Since the game is absolutely massive, man. I mean, it is massive. I have not even finished the game in its entirety yet. With those DLCs that came out, it basically expanded the story by like 50%. How about that for a DLC? You bastards. I remember playing the new Battlefront and I was pretty disappointed, even though I love Star Wars and it is a decent game, but all the paid DLCs just ruin the experience, I think. But that is just my opinion. Maybe some people do not mind spending over $100 on a game, but that is absolutely fine by me. If I would have the resources to do that, I would honestly do it too, just because I love gaming that much. Right, but why is this tunnel so dark? I do not like this. Let me play video games, please. I am so not made for this stuff, man. It is horrible to be alone in the dark. Oh my, what was that? Wait, was that a dream? Well, if it was, then it was a nightmare. Wow, I am never stepping foot inside of an elevator. I am done with those. And I am not kidding this time.